Not everything is good right away, like brisket or the lighting in this new studio. Sometimes you just have to give things a little time and attention. Like these video game weapons, for example, which start off very ordinary and unassuming, but with the right upgrades, modifications and experience can become ridiculously world-shatteringly overpowered. See for yourself with these 7 ordinary weapons that could be upgraded to ridiculous levels, and beware spoilers for the following games. Oh, come on, I was only kidding!
Dark Souls is legendarily tough and unforgiving, but it isn't about to throw you to the wolves without giving you some kind of weapon. That's right, it's a broken sword handle. Good luck out there, champ. Sword experts will notice that the hilt is not generally considered to be the deadly part of the sword, which makes killing things with it a fairly tricky proposition. However, if you're willing to expend the upgrade materials on it, the straight sword hilt can be upgraded in the usual Dark Souls way. None of these upgrades actually give it a blade, but they do make this sword hilt a little bit more viable as a weapon. Oh, actually, no, it still sucks. However, later in the game you encounter the boss Sif, a large and fluffy dog who, heartbreakingly, you have to kill in order to get any further in the game. According to the lore, Sif was once the companion of Knight Artorias and accompanied him on a mission to fight the spread of the sinister abyss. Artorias didn't make it out alive, but in a last heroic move used his shield to save Sif. What this means for you is that once you defeat Sif, you can use his soul, as well as a bunch of other souls you've collected, to upgrade your broken sword hilt from a rubbish old handle into a weapon known as the Great Sword of Artorias. This is a powerful and massive sword of legend that is a fearsome force to be reckoned with thanks to its high damage output and a unique 20% damage modifier against the Servants of Dark, which include Dark Wraiths, the Four Kings, and Kirk, Knight of Thorns. No wonder they call it a great sword. It is pretty great. Shame about Sif, but I think you'd understand.
I need only know that you are ready to leave home behind.
Don't know about you, but I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Take care on the long road. Wheresoever you should go, the line of Lucis goes with you. Walk tall, my son.
We've all seen episodes of My Super Sweet 16 where some rich kid gets a brand new car for her birthday. Well, Noctis from Final Fantasy 15 got something with an engine for his 16th, but it wasn't a car. Dubbed the Engine Blade, Noctis' default weapon was apparently a gift for his 16th birthday, and looks a lot like a regular sword with a 2-stroke scooter motor welded to it. It's not clear what the engine does, but this is a Final Fantasy game, so looks cool is an acceptable answer. Being a starter weapon, the Engine Blade only dishes out modest damage, but what you might not realise initially is that this sword can be upgraded to become the Ultima Blade, which has a shiny new gold paint job, but the same tiny motor. I guess adding a V8 would have made it unwieldy. The Ultima Sword isn't the absolute best weapon in the game for Noctis, but it's certainly up there. The appeal is that the upgrades to the Engine Sword to turn it into the Ultima Sword are relatively straightforward to attain and can be grabbed relatively early in the game.
Well, I'll be Crown City Maid. If you like, I can make this puppy better.
The Ultima Sword therefore will handily carry you all the way to the end of the game, should you so choose. Not a bad 16th birthday present after all. Still no car though, which is why Noctis had to borrow his dad's.
It's closing! Floor it!
Come on, old girl.
He is for sure getting grounded for that.
I'm Ichiban Kasuga. Nice to meet you.
So, shall I take a look at this bat?
Please.
Wow! Guy your age still walks around with a skullcracker like this? That's old school. In a cringy kind of way.
Thanks. You can help, then?
I'm used to modding guns, swords. A bat is child's play by comparison.
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth has a job-based class system for its characters. Some of these seem more suited to combat than others, like the gun-wielding Desperado. As compared to the champagne-toting Host. I dread to think how much he's going to charge me for that. The main job for one of the game's two main playable characters, Ichiban Kasuga, is simply called Hero and is based around attacks with a variety of melee weapons, such as pipes and marital aids. Ichiban's default weapon, however, is his trusty baseball bat known as the Hero's Bat, a Louisville slugger wrapped in barbed wire that looks ferocious, but is quickly outpaced in the damage stakes by the various other melee weapons you'll find on your adventures around Yokohama and Hawaii. However, a little ways into the game, you unlock the ability to upgrade weapons at a garage, and that's where the Hero's Bat can start to become seriously good. Pour enough money and materials into upgrades and the Hero's Bat becomes pretty powerful, but its final form, known as the true legendary Hero's Bat, is the best weapon in the entire game. Hugely powerful for regular attacks as well as dealing extra electrical damage to downed foes. It's not easy to acquire this Bat of Legend. To upgrade the bat to this final level, you need a lot of rare materials, including a cough drop tin, which is very hard to come by for some reason, and a shark's fin, which you'll need to get off an actual shark. And believe me, he's not keen to part with it. But once you have all the materials and a staggering amount of money, you can finally take this bat from its humble beginnings as a piece of sporting equipment to the godlike weapon it was always meant to be. And it means you don't have to use Ichiban's other legendary weapon, which is literally made out of 100 pieces of shit. It requires a much more unpleasant upgrade path, let's put it that way. At least put some gloves on, Ichiban, please.
Get into the store. You know what to do. Let's get those jewels.
All right, it's 0 hour.
I'll wait here. I'll be ready.
That's the alarm, guys. Watch out for the cops.
Now, spoons aren't typically considered to be deadly weapons. They're not even your second choice of weapon if you have to grab something from the cutlery drawer. But what if I told you that the spoon I'm talking about is comically large? This is the comically large spoon added in an April Fool's update to Heist 'em Up Payday 2. It's a jokey melee weapon that deals fairly mediocre damage and knockdown, but does have an impressive range on account of it being, well, comically large. So while the spoon is a decent addition to Payday 2's melee arsenal, it's not really anything to write home about. Unless you have some sort of spoon collector in your home, in which case I guess they'd probably be interested. However, Payday developer Starbreeze also added a challenge to the game that would allow players to upgrade the spoon. All the player base needed to do was collectively kill 5 million enemies with the spoon, and any player who contributed 100 kills or more would be gifted the upgraded version of the spoon, known as the Golden Comically Large Spoon. This upgraded spoon does almost twice the damage and knockdown of its silver predecessor, but also has a 20% chance of setting your enemies on fire. Plus, you can probably fit an entire box's worth of cereal in there, negating the need for a bowl and saving on washing up. Win-win.
Ninjas, I'm reliably informed, are so good at killing you that they can do it with literally anything, like their bare hands or a microphone cable, like an orange plastic chair. Are we sure there are no ninjas in here?
I can't see any.
Well, you wouldn't. That's the whole point of ninjas, Mike. Mike? Even so, when a ninja's arsenal includes metal staves, swords, flails, and 2 swords, as it does in the Ninja Gaiden remake on the Xbox, that ninja could be forgiven for picking one of those to take into battle rather than the extremely unimpressive looking wooden sword. And at the start of the game, you would be right to do likewise. The wooden sword has fewer moves than a regular sword. It can't perform essence or ultimate techniques, and worst of all, it can't decapitate people. And I think if ninjas don't decapitate at least 3 people a day, they lose their ninja license, so that's a problem. The thing is, although the wooden sword does suck, it can be upgraded. 7 times in fact, more than any other weapon in Ninja Gaiden. When the wooden sword has been fully upgraded, it transforms from a toy from a museum gift shop that could barely put someone's eye out into one of the most powerful weapons in the entire game, known as the Unlaboured Flawlessness, which is now going to be the name of my skincare range. TM. Unlaboured Flawlessness is more like a bow tool than a sword because of Japanese history reasons that you don't need to explain to me in the comments, and as such, it deals a hefty amount of damage and knockback. But it also has its own unique combos that are even more powerful than those of the legendary Dragon Sword. But wait, there's even more. A unique ability of the Unlaboured Flawlessness is that it gets more powerful the lower your health gets. This gives you 150% damage at 25% health and 200% damage when you're at the lowest possible health. Which is very useful because this is Ninja Gaiden we're talking about. You're at the lowest possible health most of the time.
Your WRO.
Who's asking?
Vincent Valentine.
In 2006, Square Enix decided to give Final Fantasy fans what they were crying out for, a game starring brooding goth vampire Vincent Valentine.
Please! Please! Help me avenge their death!
Unfortunately, they delivered it in a form that Final Fantasy VII fans absolutely were not crying out for, a third-person shooter. Quite aside from the fact the word dirge is probably the least sexy word ever, Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus is a strange game to say the least. It takes place immediately after the events of Final Fantasy VII and, as such, is rich with juicy lore. But as a third-person shooter, it's a far cry from the turn-based battles players were used to.
Thanks.
That's not to say there weren't RPG elements to it though, and one of those was a weapons upgrade system, a feature you'll need to exploit if you want to get hold of this game's all-powerful Ultima weapon. And your starting point on that upgrade path is literally a child's toy gun, which happens to be a fully functional weapon. Child safety, clearly not a big priority in the world of Final Fantasy VII. Probably too busy riding giant chickens around. While the toy gun can be used in combat right away, it's extremely weak until you upgrade it 3 times. Once you've completed this upgrade path, it becomes the second best weapon in the game, making it well worth the 250,000 gil it costs for that final upgrade.
Let me show you!
Although given that you started with a Nerf gun and have cumulatively spent 250,000 gil upgrading every part of it, you've basically just bought a whole new gun, haven't you? Step aside the ship of Theseus, we're now calling it the Gun of Vincent.
Gothy side-scrolling action RPG Castlevania Symphony of the Night has close to 100 weapons, so it's easy to find yourself paralysed by choice. Or paralysed by Medusa. Honestly, there's a lot going on in this game. One weapon you're probably not going to want to stick with, however, is the sword known as Muramasa. On the plus side, it heals you with blood magic, which is good, but on the downside, it reduces both your attack and defense, occasionally jams if your attack level is too low, and has a slower swing than a 90-year-old golf pro. However, while it might seem like it's not worth sticking with the Muramasa, the worst of the game's 3 healing swords, it does have a hidden ability. The Muramasa sword causes protagonist Alucard to be automatically healed if he's splashed with an enemy's blood while wielding it. Furthermore, the Muramasa levels up as Alucard gets healed by that blood. That means that every time you heal in that way, the sword's attack increases with an increasing number of heals required for each advance in level. For example, it takes 1 blood heal to increase from -5 to -4 attack, and then 3 blood heals to increase from -4 to -3 attack. Also, when you've leveled your damage output to 30 or more, the Muramasa gains an automatic free/flurry every time it is swung, and its swing speeds up. Before long, the amount of blood healing you need to do to level the sword does become somewhat ridiculous, but if you're willing to find a workaround using various combinations of gear, sub-weapons and cheesy strategies found online, you can level the Muramasa to the point where it's the strongest weapon in the entire game, a feat that will take you something like 1 million blood heals to achieve. And then it kills everything in the game in pretty much a single hit, so it sort of ruins the rest of your playthrough. But hey, I really feel like we achieved something here today. I think it might be RSI.
Well, here I am. I think I could actually get used to this new lighting. It's very flattering, very even on my face. While I'm here, might as well direct you to these 2 videos up here, one from us and one from our sister channel, Outside Extra. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, why not head to patreon.com/OXClub and check out the supporters club.
Show us your silhouette.
Okay.